All right. Chapter 1, as I'm referencing, coding this jewelry site that I've been made a part of by choice, through the Lord's help, through guidance. As again, I won't mention it to everyone, just on this one here. My hard drive, external hard drive, 4 terabyte, decided it wanted to show up, but it didn't want to actually be accessible. So I took it to a local group called the Nerd Herd, under a group called Kinergy Tech, Kinergy Creative, and from there, about a week later, I get asked. Well, there was a post about if anyone knew about how to work on databases like Excel, Access, and I chimed up and got myself into the process. I was going to go ahead and, after a discussion, try and put his database into Microsoft Excel. I thought it would be easier. After a week of fighting it, or almost a week, I went, no, it's got to be in Access. So I researched, got to a bunch of sites, a bunch of YouTube, bunch of websites for various features. Kind of depending on the timing, I just kind of randomly put them there, except that's the wrong folder. Various websites for various functions. But before I knew it, I ended up with Richard Rost, finding him on YouTube, having searched for MS Access, and by the end of that first week, I went ahead and subscribed to his classes through the channel, of YouTube channel. It's definitely well worth it, because yes, everyone else, they have their points. However, he's truly been at it. You can tell by the fun that he has, the knowledge that he knows what he's talking about. He's been at it since early Microsoft Office Access. So I trust him. Once he stops having fun, it'll be done with. So at this point, I'm going to do some basic coding. Like, one of the things, I've already made a backup copy of this database. I've set it up so that so far the customer list and the inventory list, well, the inventory list not so much yet. I'll probably pause and set that. Or I won't, because I can do that from code. I can get in that way. Set the masks, because that's how I was starting to do it, is through VBA code instead of directly on the continuous form. But yeah, I have most of it covered, especially the customer list. It's old, but who knows who's still valid and who's not, and I don't want to risk that on YouTube, on social media. For addresses, and phone numbers 16 to 21 years old at this point, being October 1st, 2021, 11:31 p.m. Pacific time. I don't want to risk that, so I've hid all but like the first and last name. I am going to do that on the contact, the customer details and edit forms, as same thing. Don't need that information going out to anyone else. When I create a in-house tutorial for them, then I'll have it unmasked. But for everybody else, no. I've got to be preventive from the start because that's a caveat to working with live information versus what most people will do is create a quick sample. The suppliers list, there's so many entries that just are inputted wrong. They're duplicates in the first 100 of them or 25, whatever it is. It's enough there that it won't show. And I'm not sure that it really matters with the suppliers, but definitely the customers. And inventory, maybe not so much, just because it's just kind of an idea, because there is no pricing reference. There's nothing that will really be valid, because I do believe, based on the template he gave me for the inventory tag, that number has changed from this setup. So when I get there, I'll show that on the form, I've left plenty of space for them to change the inventory number instead of keeping it short like the old number, which appears that the way he set that up originally was that the inventory number happened to be associated with the photo number when he took the photo with this camera, digital camera, not necessarily phone camera, because they weren't really that popular back in 2000. More digital cameras. And then they eventually became popular with the phones, and so I need to keep this thing flexible, but so as easy to operate on the other side of it. So I have to keep that in mind, and these videos will help me along. And because I'm talking it out, I'll probably come up with issues sooner than if I just didn't do it, because it keeps me awake in looking like I'm talking to someone right in front of me or right next to me, showing them. So one of the things that is common, yes, we'll eventually set up a front end that could be full screen if he wants to use this on a separate, have access with a separate computer in the office, so they aren't using the same desk. But then again, they may just do that because they are very small. Sometimes you'll see like the eye doctor, they'll have one spot that's got all the computer access, bringing up the information that it really doesn't matter. So this view here with the minimal navigation pane is probably going to be enough, or at least maybe hidden. And then there's a method that he states that you can actually bypass and get everything as an admin. So he's got code that when this opens, this navigation pane with all this information will hide. And once I give it to them, I'll make that so it actually disappears altogether. Goes into a special environment, encrypted mode. So then this up here, there's very minimal risk in someone creating something that they don't need to. He was showing that when you're in that mode, you can create a table, you can create a query, but you can't. It looked like you couldn't create forms. Maybe reports. That might have been blank too. I'll get there when I get there. But look at his site, and you'll see a lot more information than you'd do others because, again, his videos go back to at least 2008. He may have recordings older than that, but as far as YouTube, I think they're 2008, maybe 2007. He even has reference to front page with the server extensions, and like that goes way back in this digital era. That was a fun programming by itself. But so I'm glad it disappeared after 2 years. But it's what I ran my first GUI website on, of twigs-76.com. So now I'll go ahead and get to the grit of it. I'm going to go ahead and go over here. I guess I could have, since it's in my history, I'll just type it in. Yeah, if your browser is saying it's having having problems, try, and you, especially like with Firefox, or if any others do the same thing with this enhanced tracking. With the security icon on Firefox, click on it, and then you can toggle it on and off. What's interesting is through the general settings, it's like this feature can't be set. You used to be able to add trusted sites to the server, to your browser window. So I'll close the tab, and then it loaded up fine. It's just something in the way it checks whatever server it's going through. It just likes to balk. I don't know what it is. I'm already logged in. Actually, no, I'm not, because this top browser line is blank, so to speak. The navigation, that's where he puts the login information when you're logged in. So right here, say, just real quick, I'm going to go to the code vault. Well, it took me a while to figure out where the code vault is located. So I'm going to go access VBA, get username, URL, don't close all forms, bypass, disable the bypass key. So if it's an environment that you need to, you really don't want people accessing, you can have it, disable it, so they can't get in by mistake if they just randomly do it, kind of like Ben Quackshell and his mom, where they end up going blather and blatherskite to get the security bodysuit that was invented by Gyroduck for Scrooge McDuck's mini bin, money bin. Yep, choose color mouse pointer form is loading message box prompt. Yes, no, navigation pane, minimize, restore, minimize ribbon, minimize and store. Application maximize, restore. What I discovered and showed briefly on the original getting started video. So if I can click on here, if you're not a member, if you're not a subscribed member of at least gold status, he just brings you right back to the home page of the code vault. And he references that. Actually, no, he doesn't reference this part of it. However, with his website, with his videos, he was like, well, in his member videos, it's like, well, for silver members or whatever level it is, you can just pause the video and type the code. Whereas us that are gold and platinum, or something like that, platinum and for certain, have access to the code vault for what things that he's come across in his learning, along with a couple of folks that he trusts to set it up. So again, it's definitely well worth the investment. So now I'm going to log on. So I'm going to go CodeVault. So now I want to go access VBA, application minimize restore, and then it's just to do command.run command AC command app maximize and then app restore. So you could actually create buttons that do that, or have it do it so it's based on a function of whether you get focus back to another window. So however you want to set it up. So now I'm going to go back with the navigation restore. Copy. I'm going to go ahead and go right click, design view, and well, actually I'm going to go F4 properties because I want to make sure since there is no record set, it's just a basic home page. I don't need a control box. I'm guessing I don't need the control box. Buttons, no. Record selector, no. For now, it's sizable. I'll eventually set it. Once you set like none or thin, then it forces it. At some point, I'll probably learn about the dialogue version. Single form. I don't know if happens if I go data sheet, since it's just a home page. View. Oh wow. Okay, so that's what happens. I set data sheet. That was interesting. So format. Other. Yeah, it shows you how to get into setting up and getting out of the net options, but basically you file options. I'll show you anyway, because like him, I don't like those tab views, especially when I'm working with forms. I was okay with it for the basic tables, but now that I'm working with forms, apparently since I changed it to a data sheet, current database, layout view, windows, theme color, overlapping windows versus tabbed documents. You want overlapping windows, gives you the traditional Windows view. And if you change some of these settings, you get to close the app and reopen it. If you notice right here, I've got in my edit mode, the supplier list is there, but if I go, or the view mode, but when I go the form view, then it's hidden because I don't have it set up yet. So what was the point? So now I'm going to go click the VBA button, and that's interesting. That disappeared. It was kind of weird. Now open it back up and the code's there. That's like I had a manual burp or fart or something. So let's see here. Form. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'll just go. Oh, I see why. Okay. That's why when I change it to data sheet, it gave me the option of a data sheet, I think. Design view. Maybe it didn't. So let's go single form. Let's go view. Oh no, the option's there. Never mind. Design view. I'm going to go ahead and save. Form customer detail. That's interesting. Maybe because I don't have any other oh, you know what? Because I didn't have any other code really off of that. Whereas this is just a use events or macros, so it doesn't show up. Aha. So I'll go ahead and get to the form. Go on load or whatever I did. Code builder. Now it's created a form main page. Aha. So I could have done right click, insert, class module, database properties, import file. Yeah. It's like in order to create the basic form, you have to go through and create an event that you can just disable. Weird. So form load. Yeah, that's kind of. I'm gonna make that. The way my keyboard is, the arrow keys, I occasionally will hit the right click menu. No, on the apostrophe, not the decimal. Access navigation pane, unload. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to say where's on close. Oh, close. Okay. So the fun of it, I'm going to go Control X. So I'll save that. So now on the form close, it'll restore it on open. Minimize. So if I go form main page, okay, that worked. That was cool. But that didn't work. View general properties, give you the general properties of the form or query or whatever you can open up. So apparently when I on close, did I go backwards with that? Restore. I see navigation category type restore. So apparently the form close didn't do it. Anyway, maybe I'd. Yeah, who knows what I did. I'll see what happens. So the form, go back to the form. Actually, on that format, I think control box, I said no. What happens if I say yes? Because I think I deleted this right here, I think disappeared. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, save changes, yes. Maybe I have to put the close in a button. Design view. Yeah, because if you see the traditional buttons here for minimize, maximize, close, I believe that's the control box. So if I say no there, and I go view, yeah, this is the control box right up here. I never knew what that was called till just now. That's interesting. The options are there. That's interesting. You hide them. However, you hover just right, and they're still there. Interesting. Because you see the names. Huh. Because they're enabled. So if I enable the control box, none, minimum enabled, max enabled, both enabled. Huh, interesting. I don't know if anyone else realized that, but it was just something I kind of discovered. That's what happens. Okay. So now, yeah, that way you can, oh, right, because then I go here and I go add a control, cancel, data, event, on click, event procedure. So if I move that from form close to command 9 click, because I'll change that in a moment. I'll save that. CMD close form. I'll close. Save. He doesn't. So if I go ahead and go view, that's interesting they put it up there, but I'll figure it out. So that didn't do anything. Oh, and the reason why is because I renamed the label after I renamed it after here. Which actually, yeah. So So yeah, as I said, the names. are available, but the home phone, cell phone, the basics right here are currently masked. I have yet to set that up in the details. However, regardless, the filter works. I've got it set to view filter. I'm kind of going back and forth. So if we were to, it shows the filter count and total number of records. This button I'm going to copy over to other forms to set the size, because it's easier when knowing all 4 dimensions, because then when I go over here, form defaults, I'm going to set one for the main page that I'll write that information in. I can use a base folder for images if I was to create, or I should leave the ones that I don't need to have access to images blank. So it goes there. Reset filter. It does the same thing as here. If you view, no filter is active. It's basically if the filter is blank, I put the message instead of being just generally blank. Edit filter. It's movable, but not accessible because it's in that modal form. That this way you can kind of scroll over here and look to see the information, but somebody can go in and copy, duplicate, and add to it, adjust. But this goes to a separate custom. So I versus the filter custom, which has the standard like criteria as Richard has described. And this right here is actually pulled up by a union query that pulls both of them up, and however it pulls it in. And the only way to edit that and create it is you put it in SQL, basic SQL form. So in this case, Windows Plus, get the magnifier on. Basic SQL code, same as long as the field names are the same in both tables or multiple tables. Excuse me, I got an itch. Both tables, they've got to be the same. Or if you have a third table or what have you. So in this case, I've got ID field, which is the auto number, the filter name, filter text, and then the filter custom. Command escape, get rid of that. Oops, maximize instead of closed. So that basically with the query here, instead of using the general table, I bring in the union query, and then I just, as the union query, he uses Q at the end. I like to use it in front. I use TBL. I'm rather put that in the front. He puts T at the end. There's no wrong or right way to do it, so long as you keep your system uniform that works for you. But this way, that union gets brought up, and with the way he's got his code set, it refreshes the union after updating the custom. But yeah, that way, by having custom database, they can add and remove to it and not accidentally remove the common base searches. So yeah, with the program, I was say, by on here. So if I go cell phone contains 343, which there's really, I don't remember what's in the field, but if actually 343, enter. See, there are now 27 of 6,980 records showing, even though you can't see the numbers. Did that for security, so you don't necessarily know where they are. So yeah, this part works. You just have, the way it's set up is, at least with me, with Office 365, I have to double tap the enter key to get to the filter once I've typed in. But the thing is, yes, it's a good idea to back up your database anyway. However, if you're using Office 365, don't always take the Google Office 365 auto backup rollbacks for granted. If you're going to do a major change, make sure you make a full backup copy. The rollbacks will work. File somewhere. Somewhere, if it faults, it'll show you the history of the rollbacks. Somewhere there's a rollback on it. I don't know. Even edit database properties, you can get statistics, contents. That's actually quite interesting. I hadn't done that before, but it's probably standard Office stuff anyway. Your preferred lookup on statistics, the general info about it, where it's located, short code. But somewhere, oh yeah, encrypt with password. You must have the database open for exclusive use to set or remove the database password. To open the database exclusively, close the database, and then reopen it by clicking the File tab, clicking the Open category, then clicking the Browse button in the Open dialog box. Click the arrow next to the Open button, and then select Open Exclusive. Interesting. I'm going to cancel that. So yeah, I guess there's not a whole lot of coding I'm doing. I'm just kind of playing around and trying what I've got. And apparently, even though I've got the main page, yes, main page to hide that. Even though I close the tab, I guess there's something in place I've got to set it in order to get it to reopen if I wanted to. But all I'm doing is minimizing it, not actually hiding. But that way, when I get the file, here we go, file. I haven't done it yet. I may as well just do it. Options, display form. I'll just go main page, display status, application title, browse for icon. And of course, that just goes to the your general documents. I'm going to change the logo just because I can for this, because I've never done it before. Logos. Bitmap. Logo 8 bitmap. Okay. Application title. So instead of just saying access up here, maybe you must close and reopen the current database for the specified options to take effect. Okay. No, I'll just close that anyway. Ah, yeah. So instead of saying access up here, now it says, but it gives me the name that I want. So if I go, that's kind of interesting. The minute I minimize the option spot, not sure how that happened, but nope, I didn't do it. But that does do that, so that's a help. So now if I go File, Open, does that? No, it just gives me that. So somewhere, I'm not sure where the logo gets placed yet, but somebody may know that one. So now I'll go ahead and pane, ribbon, minimize, restore. At some point I'll probably put that in a function, public module or something, so that way it allows me to call it from anywhere instead of just the initial main page. But wait, there we go. No. Oh, I see. Okay. What it did is it changed it so it's the icon is now based on what shows up on your taskbar instead of the generic logo. Interesting. Huh. That way you can be more customized. Should you have a few apps, then you know what you're looking for. So I'm going to go VBA. Oops. Minimize. Maximize. There we go. Control Y. As told by some, actually deletes a blank line. It's quite interesting to learn that one. I'll save that code. So now, if I open the form main page, okay, so now that's gone. So now what I can do is on the next video, I'll go ahead and start. Now that I've got the core stuff after kind of playing around, I'll get to actually setting size on some of these windows, get that figured out, get that referenced, and then I'll then I'll show setting up the form so that they actually will size to what I need based on that table. So yeah, this is definitely a lot cleaner look going forward because then I've got that. However, I'm going to go ahead, even though now that's over there, But then again, I can actually, based on the computer that this will go on, once I get there, we can go in and adjust that, or I can show him how to do that and say, okay, here's like an admin menu. Okay, click on admin, and then here, click on this option, and you'll be able to adjust the pixels. Something like that. Or I may just, I think initially I'll probably leave that open, and then when he's ready, I can go in and either show him how to hide it or come back and hide it so it's not there, but the programming is there. That way he can fine tune where they want the windows. But the idea was so that way it was minimal movement, make it easier. Kind of the basics. Well, that's not modal. So when I tapped on the customer list, the main menu went behind the scenes, whereas this message box by default is that modal, so you can't actually access anything below it until you give it the command either OK or the X to cancel or whatever options you have. So yeah, tired. Probably because I took my meds. That and it's probably time for bed anyway. Being as it's 12:14 a.m. October 2nd, 2021. At this point. So yeah, the next video segment will be putting this code on, say, on here on the main menu, to then be able to use this, size this, to then fit this look without having to keep fidgeting, because again, you can able to see this in this number in pixels for each position, so that's is a bonus. It's nice to have. And then having them all in one instead of doing one, then coming back and doing left, right. I suppose I could set it up so it shows up in a text box or on top of the button what it is, but that's just as easy because it's a quick copy. And well, you can't right click and copy, but I can write it down and then type it in. It's not that big a deal, especially since I labeled the fields appropriately, the field names. So excuse me. So yeah, that's kind of the gist. It's getting there. From having this various queries, I've been able to add customer ID, which may or may not be a good thing in this case. I was trying to figure out ways to reference for duplicates, but I think it's above and beyond an old database. It's kind of a good idea going forward with a new one, starting fresh, not trying to go through one that's got 6,980 records that's 16 plus years old. The one they have on Excel or whatever it is they're using now would probably be the one to create custom IDs That way, unique IDs for each person. That way, if there are duplicate names, it can be easily found, edited, deleted, merged where needed, etc. Clean it up, make it sure it's all uniform. Because underlying here, these numbers, I'll probably show them I'll probably show the list and a query of, say, the home phone numbers and the cell phone numbers, but I'm not, just a short, quick reference, because there's some that somebody typed in at, and somebody in the cell phone reference that was like home phone 2 or phone. It was originally labeled phone 2, and I changed it to cell phone in the new database. And so as phone 2, somebody wrote in cell and then the phone number in phone 2. They put the word cell. And so having a dedicated field as cell phone, that needs to just go referenced in as just the number, because it'll look better in the long run. And then those can go into notes and all that kind of thing. So the inventory list, these are what he had. I called it master because those were the originals from his old database that was migrated from DBase to that he created around 2000 into Access around 2013. And now it's my privilege to be able to try and bring this into the current standard with the entry forms, all that directly from Access. I don't know what it was beforehand, because as I probably mentioned in the getting started video, sometime during or after his wife's passing, he came back and lost the front end, lost the entry side of it, which could have been on the server that disappeared. That's an unknown factor right now. So I'm recreating from old database and go from, so I have the core structure to work with. So key factor definitely was getting the customer list set up, which I had to remember. I was trying to figure out how do I search on such and such, set up search. Well, I forgot that, and was reminded in multiple places that in Access, searching is filtering. It's the same thing, except that you happen to have dedicated cells, dedicated rows and fields. Excel, it's rows and columns. So it different terminology for the exact same function. They obviously have it programmed a little differently between filter and search, but it's the same. As I say, it's the same core concept. You're reducing and bringing in the information. Searching typically don't. With most searches, it doesn't just bring up everything related to that word. There are apps and like Facebook and eSword, MySword. When you search, like your Bible programs, those things, they are set to bring in the reference based on your search. However, typically on a web search, well, yeah, that brings it up. However, if you're searching a document, typically it's not going to just shrink everything else in and show only that within those zones of what you're looking for. It usually highlights what you're looking for, but then tells you how many, if it found any, that are in that document. That's the standard document search. I mean, whereas filtering just kind of brings your database and just kind of says, okay, we have this amount, but really if we want to like prune, you're pruning out the bad stuff. So you're just getting what you need that's related. So, yeah. So, as I say, it's just kind of, as I keep repeating, this is just kind of what I've got going before I go diving in on what will hopefully should be diving into the actual code, copy, paste, edit, just because I've already got it function. The inventory list, I don't have the view button. I had an edit button. Actually, I think I might still have it over here. However, no, I did. Well, if I did, I hit it. But I think I actually deleted it because really, for most people, when you do the view, and I'm not going to hit that right now because I need to set the masks first. When you go view, actually, that's right, I can do this in a way that I do believe is if I go form, say, customer details. Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, briefly, that name and number were there, but I don't want to do that for the rest of it, especially if, yeah. I thought for some reason I've had it actually happen where I opened it up without the edit mode, just in the actual form view, and it just didn't even show any records, just showed the add new. So if I go view view design, I've got it set to pull in the record, which I think I have it hide the record on the, I would show the record here and hide the visible, yes. Oh, okay, that's what it is. I have on the view mode, I have the customer ID number showing, but the record not showing. But then I have it the opposite on the edit page instead of on both. So what I'll probably end up doing, because I've got this one and then this one don't quite look the same, I'm going to go ahead. I'll probably make some basic adjustments here to the form and then re-save here because they're the same size, and this will go load because I have the size and location set. This will open up right here, and currently I've got the mode to resize the button here, but based on most window widths, now that I understand and have it programmed to hide the navigation pane and hide the ribbon bar, then having this is kind of a moot point, because setting this modal over top of the list, and then when you close it, then you get back to the list, or you close the edit, be able to edit the record, you save it, but then you hit exit to close, then you're viewing the details. Yeah, it seems kind of like an excess step. However, if all you need is just to look at the details, copy and paste, you can do so, and eventually I'm going to end up adding button to order, all that, similar to what Richard has, to be able to have order history for the individual customer right on their customer details. So that is a nice feature. I don't think they do a lot of business because of the nature of jewelry. I don't know how much business on a daily basis he does. And that'll be fine tuned. But for now, I'm just trying to get it to a point where they can at least, at minimum, make use of this old database, compare it to what they have now, and maybe update one or the other where needed. And then when it comes time to loading in for the official, they could either do it manually or have it set. So if they are in Excel already with their information, which we could do, is set it up so we could actually program it to where you load the Excel document, you actually have it linked in, and then a query to update a table to if any of these records are different. So then update, otherwise leave them alone, type thing. So yeah, I like to ramble, but at the same time, rambling in this case got me into thinking about some other things that would be helpful but aren't immediate. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna make sure that I have these kind of set, and as I say, that event. Oh, wait a minute, I have to go to the form itself. To get to the form properties, it's that upper left box in between at the corner of the rulers. That'll get you to the default for each form you select on it. It takes a while to kind of get used to doing that with a single click in particular. So other modal, that's what still, if you can leave still that allows it to be accessible, but not everything else behind it. And when you get hijacked, if somebody sends a malware and hijacks you, that tends to be what happens, is that you can't get beyond, they've locked that main, so you can't get behind the other unless you know to go, if it didn't hijack the main files as well, to right click taskbar and then go in and to the app and close it that way. That's kind of what happens with modal, is that's where those hacks people like to do that with. They aren't as popular anymore, thankfully, but they do happen. So format, I could actually, somewhere to, movable. There we go. If I go ahead, I'm going to do it on, I don't want to show the data again. So if I go ahead here, I can move Bode Jewelry around. I'm going to go design view, movable, yes. I'm going to say movable, no. Yes, you can move everything around in edit mode. However, when I right click, I'll save. He always saves, closes it, and just in the off chance. It doesn't seem to matter. I haven't had any problems, but it's up to you and what you're doing. I think the thing is with me not saving, it's because I am operating this under OneDrive, and so it does save behind the scene. It's just a little more often by hitting save. That might be my deal versus others that'll do it locally on their computer only. As long as you don't save it under OneDrive, you can not auto-save with Office 365. So now if I go Form View, and that's interesting, I click on, that was weird, temporarily. See, now if I'm clicking on it, you can't move it because it's set in stone, so to speak. Which, depending on your form, that may be a good thing if you want to bring one up, like this edit form on top of the list, and then say, well, the view mode, and then have the edit version of it. Because I didn't know what to do to set it to reload as editable. I'll probably learn that here pretty quick, so I can use the same actual form. Click a button. If I go edit record, it may go ahead and, so instead of opening another form, just essentially put it in edit mode, enable edit mode, and when you hit, and then maybe hide this, so when you hit save, then it changes this back to edit. That's probably what I had to do. And then add new record. Yeah, there we go. Because it'd be best to use the same form. So yeah, I'll go through that. That's another thing that I can work on. Edit, save. I'm going to jot down my notes that I've got my numbers on. Although the pen doesn't kind of work. Edit, save function. Same form. Because it's kind of like using this back and forth. If it looks for one thing, then do this. If it's not that, do something else. Such in this case, it's the resize function. So that would be a good idea here. So if I click edit record, maybe I can have like a base initially I probably won't have a password, but I can add just a safety password or a note. Say, are you sure you want to edit the record? If yes, then load the save, change the button to say save record. And then once you hit save record, are you sure? Then yeah. Because that will keep it much simpler by being able to use the exact same form, because that's really what it is. So the view, this is all locked. Where save will lock these so you can't edit the fields, but you can view them. I kind of redundant on that, but yeah, that's the way to go. And in order to get this, initially had set this up, and it's coming up as just a general text field when I brought in the box. Well, it took me a while to figure out that in order to change this so it would be a calendar, I had to go into the table itself, change the property of the table to date, and then it gave me the option. Then when you view it, it gives the classic quick calendar reference. So you can either type in the date or you can click that calendar pop-up. So yeah. Yeah, it could be something with the paper or something with the pen, because it actually is inked up. This pen actually does have some sort of weird ink setting on it. They gunk up now and again. So now it's just a matter of finding what do I want to, junk do I want to wipe it off with. Tip. That may be what happened is it just got some old ink and other debris from being around the table. Oh yeah, now it works better. That's what happened. It was fighting through the debris on the tip. Should have known that one sooner. So, at this point, yeah, I got the basics. I've got it so when I open up, see if it asks me to save. Nope. So I get the basics. So when I open the database, then it shows up as minimized. In this case, because I'm at it so much and I'm using Windows 10, I'm going to go ahead and pin the taskbar, if it'll allow me. Interesting. When I pinned it to the taskbar, it changed back to the default database image, untag. Then it shows up as the image, the logo that was set. So that way, I don't have to keep going up and start, because I am editing this, so I'm going through it. So when I do need to close it, I can close it. So pinning just pinned the app. It didn't pin the app itself. It didn't, which is interesting that it didn't pin the database. That's compared to the Office setting. That is weird. So I guess there's really no point. So I guess maybe in my case, I'll go ahead. File. So we go start, access. Hey, I didn't want to hit the wrong button. Right click. Pin to list. We'll pin it there. So that way, no matter what I do, I drag. Okay, create that link in desktop. I don't have extensions showing. I don't, but yeah, actually I do, because it put shortcut in the back end. So now I've got. So now on the desktop, I've got quick access. Okay, because I definitely now need to make sure I've got quick access. I don't usually do that. I've got a bunch of apps. Probably I could clean up and just hide a lot of these things. I don't use them anymore, most of them, but yet there are apps that are installed. I'm just, because I was away from my computer so much, it really didn't matter. But now it's definitely too busy for me. So I'll just do that off recording. So basically, I'll just create a folder that says unused, and then just drag them all in there. So I got quick access to it. Actually, I'll just do that now. New folder. I'm gonna unused links. So I guess I'll go ahead and most of these I can go ahead and hide. Go drag, highlight, move, and okay. Most of the majority of these I can just kind of go random. Google Drive, I don't care much about. Maybe I should keep CCleaner on there. UMark 6. Maybe for now, until I figure out what I'm going to do with it. I haven't dealt with Malwarebytes. I'm going to probably oops, apparently I copied all those. Control Z. See if that undid it. Nope. Continue. Yes, I want to continue to undo it. Oh, I see what it was. I just undid everything, including these copies, and brought it back. I'll get it all there. Okay. Oh, I see. Copy. So, sound editor. So, the handbrake. Copy. Copy, copy. I'm going to go shift delete because they are copies. Alright, I done did it now. So I'll put UMark up there. CCleaner. You're not the getting at the recycle bin. Google Drive, I don't necessarily care to have on the screen. And I got X, then that's showing down here, which actually I'm going to go ahead and unpin because I do have it up there. I've got another feature up here. I'm going to unpin. SCP gets me to my sites in the back end. Dropbox, remote drive. I'm going to go ahead and let those disappear. Those unused links. Microsoft Teams, I guess for now I'll keep. Malwarebytes. Apparently I have it on here twice. So I'm going to go shift delete so I don't have to. Spoken to ASIF. Yeah, these other various video things. I'm going to just replace it because it doesn't really matter. Audacity, Waza, all these other functions I'm not really using. I might use Vegas Pro. But Megasync, I gotta get back to that and see what I've got stored there. It's been too long. And everything else. Google Chrome. Apparently I had that on there multiple times. Aha. So now, that is a whole lot better. It's been too long. So now I'll just put that one right around the middle, on top of the photo, the image of the laptop. And that is a whole lot better than it was. Now it's been way too long. So, you want to quit? Yes. No, I don't want to save the session. This restream for me, I'm going to unpin. It was something I was using for streaming. WinSCP. I'm going to unpin it because I don't really get to it that much. I'm just trying to get things that same thing like with any of these apps, you can accidentally click on, so I can change the order. Like it says PC to link, I can start this. Your phone allows me with my Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus to transfer and access as needed a lot of the apps, not all of them, but a lot of them, on the desktop through this app onto my phone, so I can actually move files. So now I guess this became instead of changing code, this just became getting started part 2, getting things cleaned up, which I guess I've got to do elsewhere too. But as far as the digital front end for myself, that's a lot cleaner. So now I can if I close that, I can come here to the middle, open that, and now I'm back at the app, and then I'll figure out the. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, okay. So the restore the bar worked, but the navigation pane didn't pop up when I closed. That's interesting. I don't know if Let's try that. Let's see that again. Oops. Open up OD Jewelry. It's over here. And the navigation pane is minimized. The database, the ribbon is minimized. But when I hit close button, the ribbon worked, but the navigation pane didn't restore. So basically, I could have like that in an admin menu that restores that and then hides it when you exit. So say entering the admin mode to restore these, and then exiting will so if I go to design view and then back into form view, because it's on load, that's interesting. It showed the old school and then it went back to the new school. Weird. So close, design view, form view. Well, at this point, I got some basics. I'll probably play with some of the settings a little bit on the other side, but yeah, it's definitely recommended especially if you're not using the cloud service of Office 365 to edit your database on. With minor changes, you're fine. If you're going to do something major that you think is major, make sure you make a actual backup. And depending on the size of your backup of the business that's being dealt with, depends on how often you can set it to backup. Richard's got a method that will allow you to back things up automatically. So that is something that would definitely be wise. So be an automated backup. Basically, what if you had, say, a website, the web host, especially like WordPress, since it's so popular, there are either a separate plugin or through the control panel the host control panel for your site. WordPress can be backed up on a regular basis. You can hold up so many backups, and that's the same concept with the database here. It's just local for the most part versus like MySQL, MariaDB, which is a popular one with CentOS. Maria became popular with Linux operating version 7, which versus the MySQL, which is the same thing. It's just they kind of fine-tuned it just a little bit and cleaned it, made it a nicer appearance or something. Here you've got Microsoft Access that's loading up the information of this database, whereas with websites, the most common feature to access these the same tables is PHP MyAdmin. That's the most popular. There are others, I'm sure, but that one's the most popular. And the visual, like the forms here, would be the equivalent to looking at a web page. And in his case, with the 599 CD, I'm not sure what that is yet, the CD, but maybe he was selling a CD for $5.99 or playing on it. I don't know. I'll find that out at some point because I am curious. And it may actually be in a history and about page. I don't know. I have yet to look for that. But yeah, he programmed his website using Access and the Microsoft technology of ASP versus what's commonly used as PHP. which is a portal, kind of more of a portable version, but is a more flexible version that you can change a little bit of code here, and you don't affect the whole thing. You've got these little plugins that you build that say one section says, like the tables, this does this, but then you can access, all you have to do is change that table information, and then you don't have to go in, especially where you've got the same reference to the same table. You're only editing in one place. And that's basically what we're doing here with the forms and the coding, is we're trying to minimize, especially the larger you get in these developments, you want to minimize where you have to edit once you've got it going. You want to, so that's just kind of a common concept. Not a lot of people get that, especially if you're not really all that interested in coding, which is what this is doing. Somebody coded the app in to be able to do what we need to do. So anyway, I'll leave this one be, and we go from there. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, no wonder I can't get it. I'm like trying to go up to the record button on the XSplit app. It's stopping right below the record button. Well, as it turns out, what it's doing is it's hitting by the Bode jewelry in the, because I've got this program to XSplit to record only desktop 1, and XSplit is on desktop 2, which, or whatever, the monitor 2. So I have to actually right bar it over there, right? Move it over to the right. Now I can go up and enjoy.